Rogue One and the tie-in novel Catalyst have provided us with a pretty clear history of the development and construction of the first Death Star. So how does the new canon history compare with the story told in Star Wars Legends? In this video we'll cover both versions, see what changed, and see what stayed the same. Starting with the canon, the Death Star began construction shortly after the Clone Wars began. With the capture of Poggle the Lesser and the Geonosian plans, the Republic entered an arms race with the Separatists. It was started in orbit above Geonosis, and Poggle negotiated his freedom in exchange for a Geonosian labor force. The project was overseen by director Orson Krennic. The battle station itself was of course a large project, but not impossible. The superweapon was a new technology that needed to be developed. Ultimately, it was the weapon that would cause delay after delay in completing the Death Star. Galen Erso was responsible for many of those delays, but also eventually finished it. It took over 20 years for the station to be built. At some point, the construction was moved away from Geonosis, and the entire planet was sterilized. Wookiee slaves were used to replace the lost workforce. Star Wars Legends tells a fairly different version. The concept of a planet-like battle station was first envisioned 29 years before the Battle of Yavin by Wraith Sionar, who shared his idea with Wilhuff Tarkin, who was the commander of the Republic Outland Region's security force. Tarkin took the idea to Supreme Chancellor Palpatine and took credit for inventing it. Sionar's plans were combined with the Geonosian plans, and Sidious commanded Dooku and the Geonosians to begin construction. After the Clone Wars, the secret project continued under Imperial supervision. Bevel Limelisk was the overseer in Legends, and like Krennic, he faced hardships that dragged the construction out for over 19 years. But in this case, the delays were more logistical than technological. Things like labor union disputes and supply problems. If everything had gone smoothly, construction would have only taken 2 years. And that's not to say that the super laser wasn't still an issue. It was still new technology, and to ensure it would work, a prototype was built at the Maw installation. Construction in Legends relocated to multiple locations, including Geonosis and a prison planet called Despair. Slaves were still used in the workforce, including Wookiees. The biggest difference between canon and Legends is how the insanely long construction time was rationalized. Legends offered a number of problems that were all contributing factors, and while the same is technically true in canon, greater significance was given to the development of the superlaser. It was delayed by secrecy and the disgruntled Galen Erso. Legends also had to account for the Death Star prototype that was created for the Jedi Academy trilogy of books. While superlaser prototypes were built on a smaller scale in the canon book Catalyst, a full prototype of the station itself was never conceived. But like most of the Canon vs. Legends videos I've done, the basics of the story have been retained. In this case, I think that's more because Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope kinda forced Legends into retconning itself to fit within the parameters of the films. If the Death Star hadn't been shown in Episode 3, its history likely would have been very different. But that's it for today. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out my Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.